It is Weather Watchers Worldwide. I'm Robert Speta. Hey, there's our chief meteorologist, Louis Turner.
Good morning. Good afternoon, I should say, everybody. You know, I'm excited about the weekend ahead. We got a lot going on here around the world. We got to talk Olympics, so a lot to get to today.
Yeah.
In the stream, Robert.
And also, we're going to talk a little bit of space here.
Space.
A
big day for space.
Big day for space.
Big day, if you want to early. Love it.
We had the Crew-12 Falcon 9 launch earlier on. Actually, we got some video. We'll just show the launch right here. Them taking off at 5:15 a.m. this morning, going up and taking 4 astronauts
There we go.
to the International Space Station. Right there.
Let's go.
Oof, you see that liquid hydrogen just kind of leaking out from it. That's what all those fumes are, by the way.
Yep.
And they're cruising up there, going to the ISS. What was super cool about this one? I love the fact that we continue our putting astronauts back into space here, right? We're not having to rely on the Russians anymore to help us out with it.
Do it ourselves. Was this from the Kennedy Space Center launch pad, or was this from the Space Force station?
Space Force. The commercial flights, and this is one of the first ones. Good question, Lou. You're up on your space news.
Sure.
Because the commercial flights are like 39A, the historic Apollo line.
Right.
That is used as a backup, but they're going over the 40, which is on the Space Force.
Space Force side.
Originally built for the Gemini missions back in the 50s.
Yeah. This is so cool. Beautiful morning for it. You know, in fact, I know you were able on Good Morning Jacksonville today to pick it up on our cameras.
Yeah.
All over, the First Coast, got the great clouds that you called. So well done.
Yeah, right.
Look at it.
Like, it's kind of a forecast, but not really.
Yeah.
Actually, take a look at this. All right, let's take a look at our graphics here, because the key thing was the flight path went from south to north, and it stayed just towards our east here. So these are what Lou was talking about. There's one from Jennifer. Okay, a little broader view here, but let's zoom it in. I like this.
Yeah, true jellyfish.
Little jellyfish. You know what's going on there, too? And it took me a minute to realize it. So it has that little like poof at the back of it.
Yep.
That's the booster.
Boosters coming off.
Right? That's a good shot.
That's a great shot, John. Nailed it. Yeah, a lot on the Weather Watchers Facebook page if you want to check that out. You know, great pictures. That's cool. Evelyn's sharing that.
Like coming through the trees. I love me a little, especially when we talk about like full moon pictures and stuff, people like to send those in. I love it when there's the contrast to like the trees and the
you got to have composition, framing, you know, be a pro. Yeah, be a pro. And Scott with a great shot. Thank you, sir. You can see kind of the rocket there on the very left at the top of the triangle, and the jellyfish from the booster release towards the back. That's beautiful stuff. The noctilucent clouds.
There you go.
Yep. And pre-dawn. And Robert did a great piece all on this and how it happens and why. It's on our Facebook page or our website right now, firstcoastnews.com. Really, really cool stuff. But love seeing like the bright clouds even before the sun's up and over the horizon, just telling you how high up those clouds are.
And actually this morning on GMJ, the question was, well, okay, the rocket went like this. So why is the cloud look like this?
Yeah.
And like, well, the wind's, 50 miles up.
Yep.
Not steady.
No, it's a raging, wild atmosphere that we've got in layers. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
That's
over
great.
The St. John's River, I assume. Looking back to the east.
But I love
coastal.
That you can tell kind of the wind. It went from west. It could start. It's just all over the place. It's a good indicator of what the winds are in the atmosphere, because it's going south to north. They did not make a U-turn, but it almost looks like it's just kind of getting blown off towards the east there.
Yep, exactly. Oh, we forgot something. Got to get back to Space Center real quick.
Yeah, right there. That's actually what's happening. Okay, stop trying to hide what's going on here, Lou. Some great photos there. Absolutely love it. Our weather watchers just really pulling through here. Hey, let's talk about the Olympics. Actually, I have to fix this. A little L here. It looks like a big old low that started off the West Coast is working its way across the Iberian Peninsula. That's going to be some messy weather this weekend for the Olympics.
Yeah, getting some juice from the Mediterranean. And, it's interesting, kind of treating the Mediterranean as the moisture feed like we treat the Gulf, right? So when you get these lows coming across the continental area, got to have a source of moisture. The Med does it. And just like we would see in, say, like a Clipper system or a nor'easter moving up our East Coast, and you get, mountain snow, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So rain potentially and maybe icy mix in the lower elevations, but you get up in the Alps and into Cortina and some of the other towns where they're doing where the snow park is, and you're going to get a good dousing of snow over the next few days, and that's a good thing. I mean, obviously visibilities could be an issue, but get good fresh snow, so they're not having to make it themselves.
Yeah, and that's what people are asking. Like actually, somebody asked me yesterday. I heard they were making snow, and I'm like, yeah, but they do that.
Yeah.
Like even like your cold resorts up in the Rockies here, like if you go to Aspen tomorrow and it's sunny out and at night it's clear and cold, they're probably making snow.
Yeah.
It's just to kind of add that little extra layer, fresh, and then you're going to have the groomers run over it. In Milan, it's 51. I know that sounds warm, but that is a lot of the indoor stuff. The only people that really have to worry is if you're a spectator and you just did up your hair real nice or something. I don't know. Like, that's the basic extent of the worries there.
Cortina looking great.
Great.
Good winter weather. And back to your point of, making snow, we've been kind of had, for lack of a better term, we've been burned by the last three even Winter Olympics venues, and I can't go back beyond three in my mind. But you're talking about China, Korea, and Russia, warmer. As opposed to some of the older, you remember the Lillehammer, or you remember Calgary or Vancouver or things like that. Though Vancouver, I know some of those sites might have been a little warm, just dealing with the maritime climate. But you kind of draw the analogy. You're going to make snow just to get that fresh layer for the groomers. It's exactly the same as like Zamboni machines, like with the ice.
Yes.
It could be just plenty cold in there but you gotta, for competition purposes, you gotta make sure it's smooth. So they're always going in, putting like a thin layer of water back over to refreeze and grooming that. So you gotta make a little bit.
I think the bigger issue might be Sunday, actually. Even after the snow ends, wind's gonna pick up.
Yep.
So that wind chill up there in the mountains for spectators is gonna be rough and brutal. And then you get a little blowing snow. So and I know a little blowing snow doesn't sound bad, but if you're like launching yourself 100 feet into the air off of a jump, you kind of want a clear, very defined landing area, and a little blowing snow can wash it out a little bit.
Who's the pro? Who's going to be the best? The best ones can do it in the elements. So let's see what happens. I'm excited. And we got a whole other week. I mean, we got Winter Olympics through next week too. So we go all the way to the 22nd, so a whole other week of good stuff to watch.
Are you do you feel like you could do it now that you've seen there was the 54-year-old curling? And you're like, you know what?
Well,
I still got a couple years to get this done.
That's the thing. Like, could I walk out there right now and do it? No, I'd fall.
Start training right now.
But I mean, if the 54s, that gives me 12 years. That gives me 3 Olympic cycles.
There you go.
To figure this out.
Jacksonville has a curling squad. We can get out there.
Yeah. And they
get that gold medal.
Tried to teach, and one of our reporters, Terry, who actually is a collegiate athlete, he played football in college.
Yeah.
Watching him try to do curling, that was a spectacle.
But
it was a lot of fun to watch.
But it was interesting to watch. But he did only on his second try. He got it. He got it going. Yeah. What's it called? I was gonna say puck. What's it called?
The hammer?
Is it a hammer?
Is it or the rock, the stone?
Stone sounds more
stone, and then you have the hammer. I think
is that the broom?
The hammer is the term for if you lead off the end. I think you have the hammer. Meaning you
Oh.
get to go first in the end, which I think is an advantage. Maybe I am reversing that entirely, and my curling people are
See,
going.
this is first steps getting into Olympics
Yep.
for curling. Is
Every 4
knowing
years.
exactly what the terms are.
Got to know the terms. So step A, so that's one Olympic cycle I'll get. And then the second one, maybe I'll learn to walk on ice. And then the third, I'll actually do it. So yeah, we'll see. Challenge
They
accepted,
have like
Robert. Thank
special
you.
shoes out there, don't they? Like
Probably some grippies.
little grippies, little more
some,
traction.
yeah, absolutely. What are we seeing on the radar there, Robert?
Little offshore. Actually, that was a little worrisome earlier on this morning. There were some showers east of the Cape Canaveral for the launch, but it's about 50, 60 miles offshore. The rest of that's just clutter. And, we'll talk about the first coast, though. Today, looking pretty decent. 70, mostly sunny. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you see, and this is going to be something that we don't have any sort of graphical backup for.
All right.
But I just want to talk about it because we talk about clutter. And a lot of times on radar early in the morning, you can see birds leaving their nests. You can see, that the animals, what I mean, kind of fly. I don't know if you caught it, but down towards the Indian River Lagoon last week, it was a massive bird migration. And radar returns, I guess it was the Melbourne radar site, had this bright, looked like what would be severe thunderstorms.
Wow.
Like this extreme return. And it lined up like identical and parallel to the Indian River Lagoon that essentially runs right parallel to the coast.
Do you know what kind of birds it was?
It was some sort of migratory species. But one of the Mets out of Orlando was noting this is what we're seeing, this huge. We'll have to go back and what you say. Forgive us, for talking about something we don't have visual representation. But he just mentioned that, and it was awesome. It's on social media, but I'll have to find that and get it in our next week. We'll get into Weather Watchers Worldwide.
We sometimes see that around our area on those cold mornings where you get what we call refraction, fancy radar word, where the radar beams bend down so you can kind of see it, and it's always cool because you get that it's just out of the middle of nowhere. You just get this poof. Yeah. Comes out of the Okefenokee occasionally. It's pretty cool.
Wild stuff. Yeah, when we get off, I'll show Robert, and then Robert can do his magic, and we'll get it on the stream next week, and we'll talk about it. We'll get more into that. It was fascinating. It was very, very cool stuff.
I mean, I guess in a sense, it's the same thing as because weather radar we use it for weather, but radar is radar.
Yeah.
Radar can see planes, so why can't it see a bunch of birds?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. All right. Looking through the rest of our afternoon. Very nice. It was a cold start. That's why I'm still in my North Face.
Yeah.
But the layers. But we're peeling those layers off this afternoon.
Yeah. 6:13 sunset. Looking kind of good.
Yep.
I will be out there at Austin tomorrow. emceeing this one. I'm very excited about it.
So MC, not run.
Not run. I would love to run it, but they want me to, talk and everything.
Talk, going to introduce, going to host.
I like so all that good stuff.
Host with the most.
I'll probably still get a run in, but after this, maybe a little bit after, because I don't know how much good Filipino food I'm gonna scarf down.
You're gonna have a lot. Just be honest. So don't worry about it. Don't do the run early and then just be done with it.
Yeah,
enjoy yourself.
But there's I think
Sidney Lanier.
This is a good one to train for the gate.
The gate. That's a heck of a bridge. And I'm not, and just knowing that the bridge is a part of it. How long do we know what length this is?
No, this is the 5K.
So this is the 5K.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So basically, you're doing the bridge. You're starting kind of maybe at the Jekyll Causeway entrance. I'm not sure where it starts and finishes, but yeah, that's that would be a fun one to do. Beautiful.
Oh, I bet it's a good view. I think I would just get a little sick. I don't know.
From the incline?
Not just from being up there. Maybe I'm not afraid of heights, but I think I would be.
Get a little dizzy.
On that bridge, just on the top of it. And then Valentine's Day.
Yeah, take care of the one you love.
Good little walks. I like the walks because it's free. That's what you can do.
That's true.
You got the plans?
Hand in hand. No, we're going to Iceman game. Nothing more romantic. We've got a few families getting together, a few couples that we know, and going to take all our kids to watch Iceman fight each other. Nothing more romantic.
Exactly.
Hold hands while big brutish dudes punch each other in the head. We do have that front coming through. We've been talking about that extensively. Timing's important with this because of Daytona 500, and they won't go in the rain, even a little bit. But right now we continue to forecast the rain arriving a little later for Daytona. So if things kind of go as scheduled, they go off at 2:30. There's not any massive delays. that push the race back by a couple hours, then we should be good. You cannot rule out a quick little area of drizzle. That would be an isolated something that maybe comes up from the beach, but the main event, look at this. So this model, our graph in-house model, higher resolution, does pretty good with timing. So this is having that main event line, a narrow line, but potential for some thunderstorms within there, maybe some gusty winds as well on the leading edge, about 5, 6 o'clock coming through. And that's speeding up since we were talking yesterday. So this model has things kind of getting through a little bit faster, but still more or less north of Daytona and Volusia County at that 7, 8 o'clock time frame, which is about when things will be wrapping up.
You know, and I think even if the 500 is good to go, and let's say that runs just smoothly and it gets done, if you're in Jacksonville, you're going to have to drive back through this. And it is going to be messy. So don't be Daytona 500ing it on I-95, please. Nope. I know people, like, you get done watching that race and you're like, ooh, I want a NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's like, take it.
Just let them enjoy it. You take it easy on the way back. And that's why we have our weather impact alert for Sunday evening. We're going to watch those showers. That thunderstorm potential will be here on First Coast News Plus Sunday. Have the whole crew ready to go, in fact, as that line moves in. So just stream along with us if you're out and about, running around. We'll be keeping you posted. Of course, have the First Coast News app handy. Should anything potentially go severe, we're not thinking, the greatest chances of that. But if you get an isolated severe storm, we'll send that directly to your phone. That way you know where that's going. So we'll be watching.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lou. Yeah, Weather Watchers worldwide, of course, we're always talking about what's going on around the world and locally here, and also, space news. Lou, you were out here just a few days ago at the Kennedy Space Center. Yep. I went out last week, just kind of showing some of the stuff there.
It's a great video. Yeah, take a look. Robert gives us a tour from the Kennedy Space Center, things that you can do yourself. So check it out.
If you are traveling to the Space Coast or just interested in astronomy, this is the place you need to go. Of course, NASA's Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. And today we're going to go through and check out all the different exhibits, including get an up-close look at the Artemis spacecraft. Let's go check it out. And even before you enter the gate, the science is already hitting you. The classic clock used for the launches is near the front, and this massive 3D TV in the rockets can be seen right there in the distance. One of the first things you'll see once you come in is, of course, the rocket garden. It's just this whole slew of different rockets from throughout the space age, including a replica, I believe, the Saturn V right there. We're going to come back to this, though. First, we're going to go out and actually see some of the real rockets up close out at the gantry. The Kennedy Space Center is unique compared to other theme parks in that you have the option to get on a bus and go to several different locations versus sitting around in one spot. First, we set off to the gantry at platform 39. On the way, you can see multiple famous locations like Launch Control, the VAB, or the Vehicle Assembly Building, which is the largest building on Earth by volume. And we pass by the Crawler, which is the largest self-powered vehicle on Earth. This is the vehicle that takes the rocket up to the launch pad. It's about 130 feet long, 115 feet wide, and about the size of a baseball infield. So we're here at LC39B. This is the gantry. It's the newest attraction here at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. And here you can get an up-close view at some of the launch pads, but also they have the whole complex here. All this education on board, including this mocked-up rocket engine here, which in just about 15 minutes is going to be running a test fire. It's going to be interesting. Now, that is not a real engine by any means. It's more of a simulator in that it was used to represent the physical locations and geometry of a space shuttle main engine, so ground crews could test and practice working on one that looks like the real one. Now, it's a neat addition to this tour. So check this out, the views from the top of the gantry. You can see all the different launch platforms out here, but as well, we have a very close-up view of Launch Pad 39A. And this one is awesome. This is where the Apollo missions took off from. Apollo 11 launched from right there. And 39B right over there has, well, Apollo's Greek twin sister, Artemis, sitting on the launch pad. So check this out. You can take this and kind of point it at any of the directions and it'll show you, okay, now we're looking at LC-39A. This is where all the famous Apollo launches took place, including Apollo 11 right from that launch pad. Then we look over here, you can see the other launch pads because there's plenty of them. SLC-40. This is where the rockets were originally built in the 1960s. The Titan program took off there. We can look at some of the other ones, like this one right here. I wonder what that is. 41. That was also built back in the 1960s. This is cool. Also at the gantry, you can stop by the Earth Observation Building. I love this. It's neat to see other people learning about meteorology and climate change, but as a meteorologist, truly appreciate this. One thing that space exploration has given us is a realization that we all live on this little blue ball together, floating in space. This thought is really demonstrated in this photo taken by Voyager at the edge of our solar system. Everything that ever is or ever was with humanity is on that little blue dot there. It's important to take care of it. Now we're back on that bus. And where we're headed next is the Saturn V Center, the building dedicated entirely to the Apollo era and the rocket that was used to make it possible to go land on the moon. You enter the museum and are greeted by the massive Saturn V rocket. This massive rocket hanging from the ceiling is a one-to-one of the ones that went to the moon. In fact, this one is built with all the same hardware. It was just never meant to fly and instead is used as display. Really gives you a sense of scale of this rocket. The Saturn V building also has a scale model of the lunar lander seen here, but the crown jewel, in my opinion, of this exhibit is the actual Apollo 14 capsule. So check this out, this is the actual Apollo 14 capsule. That's why it's got the burn marks all over it. This thing went up. Now, this doesn't land on the moon, it orbits around, and then it came back carrying 3 astronauts on board. This was after the infamous Apollo 13, and behind that, of course, 15, 16, and 17 also landed on the moon too. But pretty incredible to see that up close in person. Plus, if you get the time, make sure you check out the entire collection here of different types of moon rocks. The bus tour drops you off right at the Atlantis exhibit, which is a must-see. This has got to be one of the just most wow exhibits here at the Kennedy Space Center. The actual Atlantis. She flew 33 missions into space and back, and now it's here on display. Just absolutely incredible. Plus, in the same building, you can find a very moving memorial dedicated to those who lost their lives on the Challenger and Columbia shuttles. The 2 space shuttles were lost in 1986 and 2003, including actual pieces of those spacecraft. Right after you enter the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, you'll come right up to the rocket garden. And there are numerous rockets here from different ages of space exploration. From some of the earliest ones, some of the biggest like the Saturn V sitting over there. So check this one out. This is the Titan, and this thing, believe it or not, was a ballistic missile before it was used to send people into the space. One of those Cold War relics that were repurposed for space travel. And you actually see that a lot. And that was really the whole Apollo program was all part of the Cold War. But it's really cool to see, you know, something that was designed for destruction, sending people up into space. This was used for Gemini missions. All right, let's see what it feels like to sit inside of one of these. Come up here. Oh, goodness. Oh. All right. Jeez, that is not comfortable. Oh, I think you're supposed to sit like this. Oh, I got it. Oh, oh God, you're supposed to be like this inside of it. Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, God. Oh, here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm ready to go to space. Apparently, in the world's smallest freaking barrel. Jesus. Oh. This is all next to the Gateway experience. Lots of activities here. You can test your skills as a pilot or see what it's like to ride in the Blue Origin capsule. A slew of different stations to learn about science and astronomy. And that's what it's all about. Well, I'd give this place a 10 out of a 10. Now, I am a science nerd and I've always loved astronomy and space, but there's just so much educational stuff here. It's a lot of fun and it's so interesting, all the real world stuff that they have here at the Kennedy Space Center complex. The actual rockets and capsules that went onto these missions into space, and then being able to see Artemis and the launch pads up close. Spectacular. I would say give it 2 days. We're here for 1 day, and there's so many other things that we kind of missed out on, all the rides and there at the Gateway, but still lots of fun. Big thing though is always get out there, keep learning, and keep exploring. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta.